We're live.
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. It's Brett Hensick here again with Painted Forward, a collaboration between Artists Working in Education and the Washington Park Media Center, a hub for media production, training, and strategy. I'm really excited to be here tonight to talk to you all about a really great organization also in the city, the Familia de Arte. And as a organization, as a collaboration, as a collective of artists, there are many people we could be talking to, and we have two individuals from the organization here tonight joining us who are going to share what the organization is about, as well as their own individual creative pathways and pursuits. So without any further ado, we're going to start it off, not wrap it up, with the introductory question of how do you define yourselves as individuals and as creatives in the work that you do?
Hello, my name is Henry. I work at La Familia de Arte. I'm an artist there, and as an individual, I think I'm creative. I'm creative. Sorry.
Creative's all you need, right?
Sorry, I'm stuck.
Favorite color?
Pink. I love pink.
We were joking before that there was going to be a fight over the microphone colors. Now I see why.
I'm very talented. You're like a sculptor. Oh, you love to sculpt different things. Yeah. In that way, I am creative. But I think I express myself best through colors. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Jalissa Ramos. I'm an artist at La Familia de Arte, and I'm also a youth leader there. What was the question again? Sorry.
How do you define yourself as an individual, as a creative in all aspects of your life?
Well, I'm an artist. I have many talents. At La Familia de Arte, I do ceramic work. We all do ceramic work there. That's like our main thing that we work with. And I throw on the wheel. So most of the pottery there I make, and then my sister here sculpts stuff on there. Like if I do jars or anything, she helps me with that as well. So yeah, I think I would like describe myself as like an artist, very creative, um, adaptive to different like medias and things as well.
Excellent. Thank you both so much. I like that you brought the caveat, the little aside about color, because as a sculptor, I really struggle with color. I always like to share saying hi to my wife and my son at home. They always like a little shout out. But when we got our house, I left it up to my wife to choose the wall colors and things because I think this outfit's working, but I'm not 100%. So I'm like Brewers at least, right? Golden blue. But when it comes to that aspect of creativity, the follow-up question to that was going to be, like what areas do you feel most like confident in and connected to with that process? Because there is a lot of process in three-dimensional work. You kind of alluded or kind of like suggested that with all the different steps. So can you talk a little bit more about maybe like why those certain areas really call to you? Like, why is color and the sculpting something that speaks to you? Why is the wheel throwing something that speaks to you? Because there's so many options and opportunities with creativity and with art. And it's like, how do you know which path to keep following? How do you know when to lean into your strengths and then call in for help when you need somebody to, choose the colors for you or help you with the drawings or the sculpting?
I think you just need to try out a lot of things until you find something that you're good at. Because you don't want to get too cocky with something, but if you know you're good at it, you should be proud.
Own it.
For me, like how I knew like the wheel was like my strong suit in like ceramics is just like practicing, because I know like a lot of people that I've talked to and like ran into over like the uh, sales that we do and stuff, and meet new people. And they've tried ceramics. They said that the wheel is not for them, and like everything that they do sometimes does not turn out. So like talking to people like that, it just like makes me seem like, oh yeah, the wheel is very hard to do at first, but once you like practice and get the hang of it, you like it's very calming. Because sometimes it's very like very frustrating and stuff sometimes. But it's also very calming because when you see the final product come out, you're very happy with it sometimes. And like you're like, oh yeah, that's very nice, and I did that. So.
Well, and sorry.
Oh, I was thinking the last part. How do you know when you need a little bit of help? I think through critique, you should get a second opinion. If no matter how bad or good you think your piece looks, I think it's good to have a second.
That changed the direction of my next question, because don't let me forget, I want to ask you all about like the most janky, busted thing you ever made, and to tell me a little more about that, because you learned from your mistakes. But that idea of critique, I usually hear people say the opposite, like critiques and like, I don't want to hear about it, or like you get kind of funny about it, defensive, self-conscious. And that turns a lot of people off. That can like scare you from getting that feedback. So I love the fact that you're kind of calling that out and saying like you need that, or like that's how you find the help that you need, whether it's help for you to grow individually with that skill or help from another person. um, how did you become so excited about critique, or what makes you want that critique versus like, oh my gosh, please don't talk about this. I don't want to get hurt.
I love Familia. I've been there for a long time, and they were constantly supportive. But once you grow and you learn how you would like your pieces to look, you kind of come to like a small realization that it was a little bit of a lie. So I think we, I wouldn't appreciate more like harsh critique, but it would have been helpful because I would have improved faster. I think it's helpful, but she may have another opinion.
Well, I think critique is helpful at times. It is not like, oh, this looks ugly, and they don't tell you like what you can improve on. But if you are happy with what you've done, and they like, if say she one of my pieces of work, if she would tell me, oh, you can maybe like do this to make that look better, then that like constructive criticism is very good, in my opinion. But like having people also like telling you that it looks good also helps. So yeah.
And I like that aspect too, because it really speaks to that trust and like safety to be vulnerable. And that's not just with art, but I think art is one of the closer things to your person, to your expression, to like your creative soul. I don't want to get all like mushy and hippy dippy on this, right? But a lot of people feel very personal about the art that they make, so it can be hard to put that out there and to ask people. But that idea too of like you're setting that goal, you know, like how could I make it look like I want it to? So even though it's something that you know, can point out areas that need to be improved, or you know, things that aren't working, it's also like on your terms, and it's with people that you trust, and you know, you feel like you have that safety, your comfort with too. So I guess we can tie that into the busted question. I think it's time to go there. We're gonna hear about some failures, and the reason I was excited to ask this question, I forgot I didn't present it to you earlier. um you know, when things are messed up with a drawing, you can like erase it. When things that are messed up with a painting, you can like paint over it, and still, you know, it's still there, people can still see it. But when you're dealing with like 3D stuff, it lives in this world. You can walk around it. It can fly off the wheel and, you know, hit a ceiling, or, you know, it's a different level of risk that you take when you're spinning things and using chemicals and starting things on fire, which is fun. So would you all mind sharing when I say too, it's also intimidating. Some people I think are a little scared to jump into something that's more technical or that has more risk to it. Can you all share individual projects that you've done where you're like, oh my gosh, how did this go so wrong? And feel free to use as much detail as you'd like, because I really like to picture the thing getting crazy.
The first thing that comes to mind is, oh gosh, my third attempt at throwing on the wheel. They gave me a lot of confidence, and I really thought I could do it.
I love that you got built up. You're like, I can do this.
So I'm gonna give you a little baseball. I was just gonna throw a cup, right? You know, you can get a little shaky at times, and if you push a little too hard, it can go this way, and if you push too soft, it can go down. Well, I think I was pushing too hard. The bowl cup attempt it turned into a swirly little thing. Yeah. We, like I said, they're supportive and all, so we still trimmed it, and I still painted it, and we named it the tornado. It was in a cone shape, upside down cone shape, and I painted it pink and green.
Turn that lemon into lemonade, right? Do you still have this piece?
I do. Our grandma loves it.
That's the advice I give people all the time too when they're reluctant to try art. I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, at the end of it, you're going to have something that a loved one is going to appreciate, and you saved yourself like $10 on a birthday gift or like Christmas or what have you. I love that. Well, and the stories too, like the fact that you remembered that it was your third attempt, you know, like, I don't know if you remember your fifth or sixth, but the third one, it sticks out, right?
I've had many fails in ceramic art and like in general, but like ceramic art is it's either hit or miss. So like there's a lot of things I've done on the wheel, like throwing a bowl or cup. They messed up so badly that I just throw them away or recycle them because we recycle our clay.
Sure.
So we recycled it, but I think one of the ones that I kept is like a little bowl that I turned into like a jewelry holder, and it's like a wonky little bowl that has like flowers in it and stuff. It was so bad, and it's very thick because like in ceramics you want to make it thin, so it's like I don't know, like my fifth, sixth attempt at making a bowl, and it was like very thick at the bottom and then thin at the frame of it. So I just like trimmed and I still have it.
If it's any consolation, I remember hearing once that the reason that like the Brooklyn Bridge is still standing is because they didn't know how to like make it more minimal. So they're like, you know, let's just keep adding like stones and bricks or whatever. Like, we'll just make it strong. So 1,000 years from now, when some civilization is uncovering all the ceramics, like that's going to be there. Like the other ones, maybe not so much, but so there was something about that aspect of like the trying, the failing, the remembering that I think is like really important to learning and growth, right? So when it comes to those moments, as people who work with community and like are passing these skills on to others and like sharing what you learned, what are some of those like stick out or stand out, I should say, experiences that stick out that you pass along? You know, like when you find yourself working with somebody who is trying for their third time on the wheel or their fifth time, right? What are some of the lessons that you've learned that are the most important to you from your experiences that you share with others?
With the area I work in at La Familia, sometimes I teach them how to sculpt, and every time I have to remind myself to trust the process because they're kids and they have their own imagination. They know exactly what they're doing.
Okay.
I think for me, because I work like in all things at La Familia, like glazing,
Yeah, she's more skilled.
But I feel like only thing that I can like pass on or like teach other kids is just to want to trust the process, but also to like be more out there with their art.
Okay.
Because I know that they can be like, oh, I really like doing one certain thing, but we try to like push them out of their comfort zone so they can learn different things there. So like one of the things that we also do is public speaking.
Mhm.
So we go out into like different events that we do, and we have them like speak to people and talk about La Familia de Arte or what they do there. So like when it comes to that, I started very small at La Familia. I've been there for many years. Um, and one of the things that I will never forget is going to a church. It was like on Valentine's Day. We went for a Valentine's Day event, and I went to a church, and there was so many people, and we had to talk about like the things that we were selling after church and stuff. And there was so many people in the crowd, and backstage we were with like the band that played there at the church, and we were talking to them, and they were like trying to help us like get calm and stuff, and I was so nervous, and they were like, it's okay, it's only a few people, we do this every single weekend, it's okay. It's not okay. There were so many people, and I was just there like with the little microphone and just like, hey, I do this, and then looking at Lori so she can help me because I froze up and stuff. But she says I did good, so I think I did good. But just like getting out there and getting out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I know I was one of the first, I think the first encounter with artists and with the group from La Familia was at an event. And that's what really impressed me was like, people are learning all aspects of art and design, right? And, you know, it can be, um, I think it starts out much like every young person, like, I want to be an artist, right? But like, what does that mean? You know, not only what does that mean for how to make your individual artwork successful, but also like, what are all the things you can do with art? And sometimes that becomes a stepping stone, right? Like art might not be for you, but maybe public speaking is, and you do it a couple times, art's your gateway to that, and you find those paths. And sometimes people just think as an artist, like, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make art, someone's going to see it, they're going to love it, they're going to pay me $1 million, I'm going to be, you know, famous and all that. That's very rarely the story, and there's so much more richness that you can get from it. Speaking of richness and kind of understanding, for those of you who might be in the audience and not be familiar with the organization, can you tell us more about who Lori is and what part they play in the organization, what, you know, what that reference is? We don't need like a biography or anything, but like.
Lori is our director. She's our founder of La Familia, and she's the person who started everything. She's the one who gives us all the opportunities that we've ever come across, and she's helped us a lot at La Familia. Everybody there, we could all say the same. But to me, La Familia is an organization that gives you somewhere to go. They let you express yourself through different
Opportunities.
Yeah, different opportunities. It's not just art that we do there. Like Joseph said, public speaking, networking. They connect us with people around the city, and they just help a lot.
Yeah, as Anne-Marie said, Lori's our director of La Familia de Arte. And it gives us different opportunities like networking, public speaking, and art. We focus on ceramic art, so that's what we do all around Milwaukee. And just like our mission is to beautify the city and to put art in underserved places. And we've come a long way because we at first La Familia de Arte wasn't La Familia de Arte, it was the 26th Street project. And we just worked in like a little carriage house behind Lori's house. So it was going there like after school because she had like different projects we could do. And she taught us all, basically all that I know from ceramics, like throwing on the wheel, glazing, all that stuff. Lori taught me in her little garage. I went there with my grandma and my aunt, and they brought me because they knew Lori, and I was very tiny, and I loved art from a very young age, and we just went there and did different like art things like it wasn't mostly ceramic back then, but it was like art, so I loved it. So,
Excellent, thank you. Sometimes we're like so involved with things, we're like name dropping, and it's just like, oh well, who is this person, or like, how does this person tie in? And I love it too because we had talked about the idea of like having La Familia come and speak to Paint It Forward here at the Media Center, and Laura was like, I got some people for you, and I'm like, I trust, because that idea of providing the opportunities and growth is something that like we really value at AWE too, and that's what I was really excited about, the collaborations that we've had, and the opportunities that we get to share, because you know that mentorship piece, that like bringing people in, that inclusiveness is like so important, especially with creativity, because art can feel exclusive. It can feel like, I don't know if I'm good enough with the skills. I don't know if like I can talk to this person because they're so cool, because like they're so artsy, right? Like those things can all be barriers to like doing the thing that like we all should have access to do, and that's such a important part about being human too. um and then thinking about the bigger picture and like the whole organization and the mission, right? That idea of bringing community in, it's not an easy process, right? Like getting people to
no.
participate, getting people to like collaborate and share ideas and be comfortable in all those things. And then you got like permits and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all, right? Um, so talking about that side of things, like have you found yourself interested or maybe not so interested in certain pieces of that puzzle? What are some of the unexpected things, like other than the public speaking piece, that you found yourself like doing more of that isn't directly related to the art side of things?
I think like the process of getting like all the permits and stuff, although that's like left to Jackie, she's our assistant director, and Lori and stuff, it's very like a tedious process I've seen. And like getting like different grants as well. That's a big process too.
Is that something that you feel like you'd ever want to be involved in? Is that something that you're kind of like eyeing up a little bit, like maybe one day I'll get there?
Maybe.
That seems like the not fun part, right?
Yeah.
You get higher up,
Sure.
It's more an area for the adults.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know much about it.
That's that mentorship piece, though. Just being
Yeah.
surrounded by things too, you kind of like pick up on it, and
It's
you're.
good that we know about it because we're not doing anything illegal, at least.
And if you would, we wouldn't be like broadcasting it, right? Well, I think that's part of that inclusivity to that access, that like there's a common phrase about like being at the table or being in the room where things
Mhm.
happen, right? Like
Mhm.
literally that's what y'all been describing, is like being
Yeah.
a young person and being around it, being part of it.
Yeah.
So you feel like it's part of something you can do. If you want to, right?
Yeah.
Because again, it's not so much the fun part. And thinking about that youth side of things, or like that really, really young side of things. What was your first thing that you wanted to be when you grew up that you can remember?
For me, it was a veterinarian. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it changed, and then because Lori, she was a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
She's retired now, I think.
Halfway.
And now I want to be a psychologist.
Oh.
So it changed a lot.
You're still like in the medical field helping
Yeah.
people and things.
Yeah.
You could be I bet you there's already dog psychologists out there. I'm sure there is.
I
Or
think
maybe-
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say when you combine unexpected things, that's where you get like the most
Mhm.
success, because like
Yeah.
no one else is doing it, right?
Mhm.
How about yourself, Henry?
I also wanted to be a veterinarian. I still do. It's
Still
my
do?
dream. I love animals. The main thing I sculpt is animals.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I volunteer at the wildlife department at the Wisconsin Humane Society, and like love animals, and find myself drawing. Like I go to the zoo with a sketchbook, or like
Yeah.
sculpting squirrels in the park when they're running around. It's an interesting connection. There's got to be something to that. Do you like pet the clay? Are you like
I do not. I actually
Okay.
don't. Um, mm, I like sculpting my animals. I have a lot of pets.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's one way I could connect it. Um,
They're easier models than people most of the
no, yeah, I
time.
have so many
Yeah.
pictures of them, all the angles.
There you go.
Yeah, Marie, all her life, she's loved animals and she sculpts animals, she paints animals.
If you
Just
ask anybody,
Yep.
they'll tell you Anne Marie is the one who likes animals.
yeah,
That's my thing.
I love that. You can definitely make a career out of animal sculpting. That's like
Yeah.
that's huge. Pet portraits, right?
Mhm.
So at some point, the creativity became a bigger part of your lives. Kids use creativity as a tool for expression. Like we draw more often than not before we learn to read or write, or sometimes even talk, right?
Mhm.
So like at what point do you feel like the art making and creativity kind of shifted and became like more of a central part, like more of that thing that you do for your work, more of that like taking it more seriously, I guess you could say. And like how has that maybe changed your creative practice?
It got really serious once people started buying our pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about that
I-
experience. As someone who's sold like maybe 2 things in my life, right? Tell me about that experience.
We have art shows, and I remember specifically this man bought a pot with my sculpture on it. It was a lizard, and they wanted a picture with me, and I felt like a celebrity. They picture, they wanted my autograph on it, and it was a great experience.
I think the same like different like art shows that we do, and especially like when I was little and I did like ceramics for the first time and we sold different things there. I think like selling my first like piece of art there, and like as she said, they wanted like us to sign it and they wanted a picture with us. I think that is when like I got more involved with art and like, oh, I like to sell my art. I like to talk to people about like the process that I went through to make the art piece that I did, and like also like signing our work is like a big part now because people want to talk to the artist that made the piece of art that they wanted to buy. So
Is.
I think
It makes me feel appreciated,
Yeah.
that people actually like what I've created.
yeah. And I feel like they want to like know more about the piece that they wanted to buy. So like knowing the process that I took or like what we did to achieve like that certain glazed color or
Mm.
that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just when they show that they're interested,
Yeah.
I think it makes you feel good.
So thinking about that line of reasoning and reaction about like the exposure and people seeing your work, y'all got work. I don't want to say everywhere. That's hyperbole. That's an exaggeration. But a lot of places you can see the work that y'all have done. How does that factor in? Like, how do you feel about that? That you're part of these things that are going to exist for a long time, that are in the public view. Is that a scary thing? Is that something that like elevates it? What's that like for you all if selling the individual piece with the autograph and the photo is so impactful? Is it 10 times that, or is it a little different because it's part of a group thing?
I think like not even like getting the money for it, like selling a piece. Yeah, you get money for it, but like even like the pieces that we do for like Cesar Chavez Drive, having the bollards there and people going past and like seeing like like when we were installing them and we had like a celebration for that, there was people going past and like pointing at them, and the little kids and stuff that helped with that, they seen like all the inscriptions that they did in them or like the different art that they helped with, or like even at the Prince of Peace one, Prince of Peace school mural that we did, like we had all a celebration for them, and all the kids that helped with that and like inscribed the tile and helped with the art and stuff, they brought their parents, and like seeing them there and like telling their parents, oh, I did this one, and then their parents are being so proud of them and that they did something that is going to last forever there because it's ceramic and it lasts for many years. I think just seeing like how like proud like the parents or like the kids are of making the art that it's going to stay there for a while, and like the sense of like achievement that we get from that, and seeing like how other people are proud of the art that we make and stuff. So
I think on the topic of the art we make around the city, for me, it's the impact we have. We really have worked for our goal to beautify the city. We've brought color to many dull places, and that just makes you feel proud.
mhm.
Also, as I agree with you, the emotions you see coming from the people who feel included when they insert themselves into our art. Well, everybody's art, but you know, they they the smile is worth it. Honestly, you, when the kids run up to the pieces they made, it just brings you back to when you were little and you would show your parents your art. And I don't know, it just feels good.
Yeah, it's why I like working in education is, being able to see and give up those opportunities to young people that like you got to benefit from, or like reliving those feelings. Now at this point in my career, when I'm like typing emails and doing spreadsheets, I'm like, I just need to like see a kid smile and like make something fun. Like it really just
Yeah.
reinvigorates and like kind of focuses on, the why of what you do. But I like that idea too, that it's like, it's coming full circle, right?
Yeah.
Like you're recreating those experiences that you had for other people in a way that's gonna last. It's a touchstone.
Yeah.
Like generationally, these kids can come back when they're older,
Yeah.
and hopefully they can come to an event and inscribe their own tiles with their kids.
Mhm.
That idea that it keeps going and going and going is really powerful too. So speaking of fun things and like that imagination, that sense of childlike wonder and amazement, I love asking this question because sometimes the older we get, the less creative we get to be, or like we're kind of stuck in those boxes of like, well, that's not possible. If you could do any dream project, like it could be clay, it could not be clay, it could be like veterinary related, it could be like, I want to work on alien pets on another planet. Like, what would be like the biggest, craziest, most amazing thing that you feel like you could imagine wanting to do as a person who creates? And again, not just creating art, but creating anything, right?
I think
That's a tough question.
Yeah, and you get to dream big too. So like,
okay.
but when you think about the fact that they like launched a Tesla into space that's like orbiting the Earth, right? Like if we can get silly with this, right?
Okay.
Mm.
Mm.
This is a tough question.
Mhm.
Right? It's tough to like think
Yeah.
without boundaries. It's
Yeah.
tough.
We do really get less creative, but we could always get it back. You just have to have the right motivation.
Our motivation.
Yeah.
Let me think. I'm trying to
Oh my
think.
gosh.
Should we come back to this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know
think
it's a
so.
tough one. So thinking about like the path that you're on, and this might be tough too, but I'm limiting you to reality. Like, what's the next thing that you're excited about that you have planned? What's the next creative pursuit? What's the next, project that you have working on that like is in the works and you're like really looking forward to it?
I think the Mitchell Library project that we're working on, because it's like a mural on the side of the library, and the different like art that we already have done, like the posts,
Mhm.
are like different things that you would see like in books. Like one is the fantasy one that we're working on right now,
Mhm.
and it's very cool. And then there's like a space one with like water, and that one is very awesome too. So just to like see it like set on the wall and finished would be really cool.
Mhm. I think sometimes we're more excited for the outcome and seeing it come to life than actually working in the process of making the art. I think actually looking at it where you visualize it being is the best part.
So more about the outcomes and the process.
Yeah.
What do you do when you have that? I don't know if we want to call it like artist's block, but like,
Mhm.
do you ever feel yourself coming to a point where you're like, I just can't. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm
Yeah.
exhausted. I've glazed 1,000 tiles, or you know, whatever barrier that is. What are the type of things that you do to like pull yourself out and kind of like recalibrate or get back into that mindset? You know, I know you talk about like visioning the final project, but like, what are some of those things that that you do to kind of like refill your cup when you're not? Is it like listening to music? Is it like having a good snack or something like that? How do you like get back on track?
I think because we do listen to music when we're like glazing.
Playing when we're playing.
No, we're playing. When we're like glazing and like doing our work, we do listen to music like in our headphones and stuff. Or at least I do. But I think like that because it like motivates me and like gets the creative juices flowing and stuff. But I feel like when I get like the art block from like what I'm doing, like if I'm throwing on the wheel and like I'm just like tired of it. Did so many bowls. But I feel like just switching like from throwing on the wheel from to like glazing or like drawing out a project that we're doing, because that's like another process that we do. But I know that like if we like talk to like Jackie, because she's like oversees like all the projects and stuff, and she's also my mom. But like talking to her and like telling her, oh, I'm like I've done so many like plates and bowls and stuff, I'm just like my arm is hurting from this. I can't do it anymore. Can I like glaze something or like draw anything? Do you guys need help with anything else? And like she's like, yeah, you can help us with this. So like switching from doing one thing of art, because at least for me, I don't want to stop doing art when I get art block. It's just like I can't like figure out what I can draw or like how to draw something or how to make something. So like switching and like taking a break that you can't like figure out what to do with and doing another and then coming back to that helps a lot, I feel.
Yeah, I think refocusing your energy on a different type of work is good. But also, we're called La Familia for a reason. My tactic is to go talk to my grandmother. She always has an opinion, good or bad. But when I'm like not exhausted, but when the juices aren't flowing, my grandma will tell you the truth. She'll tell you if she likes it or not, and she'll tell you how to fix it and how
Or
you
like
should.
what it's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like talking to other artists really helps.
Yeah.
But they're very understanding when we aren't in the right headspace to be the one creating,
Yeah.
where we could also switch to being the ones who are just painting it, you know? We don't have to have the original ideas. And I feel like that's the hardest part
Yeah.
with art.
Yeah. No, that's a really interesting point too, because it's like identifying that generative moment or that like struggle and pushing past it, but also acknowledging that it takes all of those pieces to make something happen too. So speaking about family, right? That, you know, I love that idea of like the trust, and that, you know, again, I think it goes back to that vulnerability, like who can give it to me straight, who can tell me the honest truth,
Yeah.
but also do it in a way where they know they're not going to upset me. Have you found other creatives at the organization or elsewhere that can help you fill that role? So thinking about, let's say, you know, there's creative folks watching, listening in that might not have that tight knit community or might not have friends or family who understand, you know, what it is they're doing.
Yeah.
Some art's more understandable. I'm not going to lie. Some of it's a little wacky and you're like, what? You know, that doesn't mean you have to like it or understand it. But do you have those people outside of that direct group? And how do you find those? Like, what are those identifying factors that you can find in a person to like know that you can trust them with your feelings, with your art, with your ideas?
Yeah. I think like all of like our coworkers at La Familia de Arte, they're very like if we like ask them for help, they'll help us, and like they're very supportive as well. And like even like our board members, they sometimes like come and help and volunteer at like different things that we're doing, like the events, or like even come to support at like the art shows that we do. So like talking to them as well. um and like not just like our family, but like La Familia de Arte is like a whole family, like all the coworkers and stuff there. You can just like talk to them about anything, and they're very like open and like welcoming. So
For us, it's a little hard to tell you because we are very close with everybody we work with, but maybe I think once we have the displays out when we're doing our events, eh, you see what gets sold and what doesn't. So I feel like you can rely on yourself with that. For that.
Oh, interesting. That's yeah, that kind of flips it on its head too. Like you don't have to have that one-on-one relationship, but you can kind of see what people respond to. So that's actually a good that makes me wonder. Have you ever had an unveiling, you're showing public art which is visible to the public and meant to be participated in, viewed, become part of the fabric of everybody's lives. Has there anybody that's like kind of stinky about it? Or they're like, I don't know about that. Like maybe it's someone else's grandma that has that strong opinion about it and they're like, I don't like that. Has that ever happened, or is everything y'all do just like syncing, connecting, resonating?
I feel like it is like most of the things that we do is just like people being like at our celebrations, like people being very supportive and they love all of the things that we do around the city. So I don't think we've had anybody that was like stinky about it.
Or maybe they just kept their opinions to themselves.
But I feel like all of the like celebrations and like the art that we've done around the city has gotten a very positive response with like everybody, like all of our neighbors and the people just like walking by. So like for example, like the bollards or like any project that we do, and like the people that are installing the art there, there's people just walking by and just asking like, oh, what are you guys doing here, or what is this going to turn out to be? And like we tell them like our project and what it's about and what we're installing for, like for example the ones for like the domes, uh the like benches and stuff. People really love them, and like the celebration that we had for them, there were people coming by and just asking what it was about and what the art is about. And like all of our people that were there, they explained it to them and they really loved it, or at least they seemed like they loved it. So yeah, nobody being stinky.
I feel like Milwaukee, the city, is really supportive because they do want to see the change. They do want a pretty view. They want to see the colors. They're not complaining when you put a bollard there that will keep their children safe from crossing the road, or I don't know, they just like it. I guess. Honestly, I think the people who don't like our art are the kind of people that won't tell us.
That's good though. I think that's for the better. Keep your opinions to yourself. If you don't have something nice to say, you don't say anything at all. Well, and I hear though a common thread too of that idea of inclusion and understanding. So like if somebody doesn't know why it's there, they might be skeptical, or you get a little more guarded or defensive. But when you explain the process and when people can understand what it is or how it got there, it's maybe easier to accept and appreciate when you know what it is. But also, the fact that it is community-based art and that multiple people are participating, like you kind of lower the odds that people aren't going to like it because they probably had a hand in it, or at least, tried a couple things here or there. The other thing that's striking too, or that's really interesting to me, is that idea of the function. Like it's doing something. It's not just something there to look at, but it does something. It keeps people safe. So thinking about, the familiarity with it is that these tiled pieces are very durable. They're on concrete blocks and bollards and things that like are a physical barrier, and it's even if you don't like what it looks like, you like the fact that it's doing something. And I feel like the Midwest, Milwaukee, it's very pragmatic. It's like, what does it do? Can it function? Does it work well? Okay, cool. So tying the creativity to something that's more useful. I was watching something online about aesthetics from like 200 years ago, and a lamppost was so ornate and so sculpted and had like fish all over it and things. And then the modern style is like, it's just very skinny and tall and it has a light on it. And they had a lot of different reasons for that. But the idea that you took pride in these things for your community. And if you're going to put it out there, like, let's make it look nice. Let's appreciate it. Let's have pride in it.
Yes.
So that really speaks to that observation that you have of why people are appreciating these works and how they're understanding why they're there, right? I do have to return back to the unlimited creativity question. Got any thoughts on that one yet? I'm not letting you off the hook. Can I share one with you?
Yes.
Would that be helpful?
Yes.
I've always wanted to make sculpture in space because of zero gravity, so it could like float around and like there, sculpture is like, oh, can I see it from the left, the right, the top? But the bottom is always like on something. But without gravity, it could float. But it made me think, what would that be like throwing on a wheel? I don't know. Did NASA ever send up somebody with like a wheel?
I don't know.
You can steal that one if you want, but
no, that would be very cool. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I'll ever be an astronaut. That's past my time. But if any of y'all go up in space, try it out for me, please.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. What about like making a sculpture out of the moon?
Out of the moon?
Yes.
That's like some mad scientist stuff. Like,
what if the moon isn't a rock and it's actually clay?
Those are both. Yours was a little more nefarious, kind of like mad scientist. Yours was a little more like kind of organic and like earthy. Okay. I see the dynamic between the two of you now. No shade. Excellent. I like both those answers. I want to pursue them both. Probably long after my time. But if anyone's out there watching and has funding and wants to like promote these projects, right? You know who to talk to. Another question that is a little silly, but I think kind of fun, and maybe invites it into the universe is, as a community arts organization, right? You're letting people participate, try things out. Who would you totally like flip if they showed up, like a celebrity or like anyone living or dead, right? If you could bring anyone to come and like make a project with you, participate in one of your community art making events, like who would you just go, would lose it over if you saw showing up?
Oh, Van Gogh, Frida Kahlo. Those two, yeah. I love their art.
I mean, we've already met the mayor. I don't know. I don't think it gets better than that.
Shout out to our public officials. I love it. Excellent. And I don't know if it's just because it's around the season, but I just keep picturing like zombies showing up.
Oh my god.
That's my own.
Maybe we're taking the questions too literal. What if vampires came and wanted to throw on the wheel?
I mean, go right ahead. I'll teach you.
As long as it's
We just
nighttime,
have to
right?
dim the lights in the studio.
No garlic thoughts. So let's see. I want to pull out another fun one because this is really I'm having fun with this.
I'm sorry.
This one's a little more serious one, but I do think we've touched on it. And I like hearing it from different perspectives too, which you've both, you're both individuals. You've got your own takes on things. Van Gogh, the mayor, right? But like with the work that you've done, like, is there a moment or a specific project that you are like the most proud of? Like the story that you're going to share with the next generation, or the thing that you can say like, this is the most meaningful thing to me? I like hearing that project from younger people too, because, when you get up there in your years, it's easier to figure that out. But I think it's important for everybody, regardless of age, to like carry those moments of pride with you and use them as driving factors or like lights. So what was the most proud moment for you?
I think when I think back to the pandemic, we did the mural on Chavez Drive for the fallecidos, the ones
bollards?
we lost.
The bollards?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Gosh. Yeah, we did for the people we lost during COVID, the quarantine, and every single year it's brought back up, and it makes you remember all the people who really appreciated it. I think that's the best part of being able to work in this field. You really get to see somebody else's perspective and you understand how much it means to them. That's what I'm most proud of. That we were
Yeah.
able to help people feel recognized and appreciated.
I also have to agree with Anne-Marie. That's one of like m- the projects I'm most proud of, and like one of the, I guess not the first ones, but like the ones I'm most proud of is like the Fallecidos bollards, and we went to different places like churches and just like different places and talked to people, and they got to inscribe names of their loved ones that passed away during the pandemic, and that was very nice and meaningful to not only us and like to them as well, because they get to go back and like they have something to commemorate the people that they lost, um and also like the heroes of the pandemic, and we went to different schools for that as well, and we talked to like the little kids and stuff, and we asked them who are like your heroes in the during the pandemic, and like they all said like their teachers, their mom, their dad, and that was a very nice one as well.
That's excellent. It's always great when you can ask a young person about their heroes and they don't come back with like Spider-Man or
Yeah.
Superman or something like that, right? Like, you know, it really hits home when they get it. Excellent. Well, thank you for that. I think those are both like really important moments of pride for you to carry with, but also, you know, a project like that really encapsulates the time, the location, the individuals all together in a really nice, you know, that's the essence of a memorial, of a public art piece, of a monument, right? And I think sometimes that gets lost a little in a society that's like always so focused on, you know, what's new or what's fresh, or you
Yeah.
know, like that idea of remembering, especially something that's not super pleasant
Yeah.
but can be turned into a moment of joy, can be a shared experience that adds positivity. It's really, really impactful. So thank you all for that work too.
Thank
And
you.
everybody else there from La Familia and all the participants, right? So I believe we are running a little short on time. So I want to wrap things up by asking you all if there's anything that you wanted to share that you didn't get a chance to share about yourselves, about your art, about the organization, but also if there's any questions that you didn't get asked that you really wanted, you know, to share or wanted people to know about.
Um,
Mm,
at La Familia, we believe that art has no limits. And by limits, we mean age, ethnicity, art medium, you know? We we want you to express yourselves, and I think that support has truly made me who I am. Um, I say that because I started at the 2060 project when I was like 4, and I'm 15 now, and I've learned a lot. I've learned to accept myself through this art piece, through these art pieces I make, and through the people around me who just constantly give me love and support. And you usually wouldn't think those things would be connected. But once you find a community, I think you really get more comfortable with yourself and you believe in yourself.
yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah. I don't know if I can follow that up. A La Familia de Arte, everyone's welcome there, as Emery said. Um, and we focus on ceramic art, and we also do different art, like we do murals and stuff, like painting murals, not just out of ceramic, but yeah. Uh, we do teach like the kids as well. We teach them how to glaze, like different glaze interactions, like what works with what. And we teach them like the process of how to like roll out a slab and like cut out the pieces that we need. And also, if they're interested, I teach them how to throw on the wheel. So like shout out to my cousin Jaden. He was working with us, and I taught him how to throw on the wheel, and he was very good at it. So I have a video on that.
Kind of unexpected from him
Yeah,
because with the wheel you need a lot of patience.
yeah.
I don't.
And he was
I don't
very
know.
little because
He
now
was-
he's like 11, and he was like 6 at the time. So little kids are very impatient, but he was very good at the wheel, had a lot of patience for it, and has a lot of talent. So
Already looking to the next generation, next age range, right? It's funny when you give those kids those opportunities, or anyone an opportunity, what can really come out and how they can connect to it. So thank
Yes.
you all for doing that.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone? I know we may have some people on the stream. All right. Well, we appreciate your time, and I just want to invite everybody out to Artist Work in Education. We have a busy schedule coming up for the fall, as we always do. You can check our website for opportunities to see art, to participate and make art, and to join us in community, as well as La Familia de Arte and Washington Park Media Center. We're all here trying to make creativity happen, share it with the next generations, create a sense of community around creativity, and really show people that art is for everyone, and it's not just something that fancy artists do with years and years of training. You got to start somewhere. So why not at one of our organizations where you can be accepted and get some opportunities to make. If you can't do that, find it somewhere. There's a lot of great tutorials online, community arts organizations all over the world. So thank you for being part of this conversation. Really promoting that idea of family of creativity, and hopefully we got some new fam out there on internet land watching in and going to join us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate the opportunities.